Hello and welcome back to Shedmouth Junction for another episode that's going to be so exciting. You guys are not going to be able to contain yourselves with this one. I mean, this is the ultimate in excitement. Trust me. Now then, I'm going to rewind to mid-summer 1989 when a very good looking young chap who's not too far from us right now went on a trip with the family to the Kent East Sussex Railway. For a family day out, and I was very lucky that at the time they had a Hunslet Austerity Loco, which was in like a red primer, sat behind the station, in front of a luggage coach, like a Southern Rail luggage coach. I think that's what it was. Anyway, it was sat there, and I was a wee nipper, a wee 9-year-old, and my granddad, who had a very thick Devonshire accent, was like, hey up boy, get up them stairs, get a picture kind of thing. And ready for this? You'll be blown away. Look. There I am. Look at that. Look, that blurry faced kid right there is apparently me. Yeah, bit of a cheeky little moment, I must say. That must be the only time in my entire life I've stood inside of a steam engine, and I loved every minute of it. I loved being in it for a few minutes of time where I was in fact an engine driver. See me. And yeah, wow, what memories. I mean, I remember the first thing that comes to my brain is how cold everything was. I mean, this thing had been sat there, I guess, for years, and in the middle of some kind of restoration work, hence the undercoat. But, I mean, it was cold. It was really cold, and it gave a feeling of eeriness. This thing was so big compared to little me that getting in there, I was like, wow, this is, it was just total awe of the whole thing. Anyway, time's gone on, years have gone by, I've got far better looking, and I have decided that I would like to find out what happened to the locomotive. Did it stay there? Did it not? I've not been back since, all these years later. Gone off and done other things in my lifetime, and now I'm trying to turn the clock back a little bit and see exactly what happened to it. So the first port of call, I'm going to try and do this at the same time as talking to you, so bear with me a second. I want to hunt down the locomotive. I mean, for all I know, it could still be there. And I thought, right, find the website for the K&ESR. Had a look on there, and there's no sign of it anywhere. There are Austerity Locos showing on their website as still being running as part of their service, but that particular one is called Rolvenden. It had the nameplate on the side, Rolvenden, and I remember it really, really well. I don't know why I remember the name Rolvenden. I just do. It was just on it, you know. No other numbers, no other markings, just Rolvenden, a tiny little nameplate. And I've tried to hunt it down with the powers of Google, a locomotive called Rolvenden, and I just come to a bit of a, end. However, I did last night have another go, and I come across this. I'm going to press record here now. Look. So what I've got here is a website, kentrail.org. And basically, it's all about Tenterden town and the railway that was there. So if I'm going to scroll through different pages here, I was going literally up and down these pictures, found Tenterden Railway, a rough map of where things were. And from my memory, I think the loco is situated in around, I could be wrong here, my geography wasn't brilliant, but around this area. Now, if I was to scroll down a bit further through the website, by pure fluke, 1989, I thought this is getting in the time where I was there, 1989, around that kind of area, and blow me down, there is that very same loco. That there you go. See, there's a picture with the green wagon behind it, and the steps leading up to it. And I'm pretty damn sure that's the same locomotive. I mean, it's pretty odd if it wasn't. But what was interesting was the numbers underneath. Now, admittedly, at first I didn't see this. I was too much of an excited hurry to carry on. But the numbers underneath it, and it said here the number was WD75050. And it was on about having, the undercoat applied to the locomotive. And if I go a bit further on, there you go. It shows the railway again in various details. And then keep going down here, next page. And there we have another Austerity Loco. This was number 25, WD197, okay, which was Northium, which was a running locomotive in 2008. So that's clearly one that's in service. and I saw that and thought, I don't think that's the same one. You know, in terms of the numbers, didn't match up. It can't be that Loco. It's got to be a different one. So a bit further down, and there's Northiam again, okay. And I had a little flick through, and I couldn't find anywhere really that it mentioned where this little locomotive Rolvenden had gone to. This is actually a picture of the same siding, I do believe. It says underneath here, the siding behind the platform where our old friend Rolvenden was earlier pictured, but no mention of where Rolvenden actually went to. So, like you do, I'm going to come out of that in a second. There we go. And I'm going to go back onto, where are we? No. So I did a bit of a Google search, and I found this chap here. I don't know who he is, but Clive G, who is on Flickr. And sure enough, there is the Loco again. And if I zoom in, there you go. Look, nameplate of Rolvenden. So I know it's definitely called Rolvenden. What I hadn't matched up at the time was the numbers. So the hunt was on to find Rolvenden. Okay. So a bit further around through Google, in a couple of hours of searching, I found this one. Now this was on a website called southernlocomotives.co.uk. And again, I'm basically going on Google and typing in Austerity Loco Rolvenden, which was getting a bit confused because obviously Rolvenden's a place near Tenterden, and there are Austerity Locos that run through there even today. So it's getting everything all confuzzled with numbers and so on and so forth. But I managed to find this one, and this one, here we go, is exactly the same locomotive, just it's now got a blue livery. So obviously it had moved on since I was there. The steps are still down the side, the green wagon's still behind it, and it's still looking like the same. It hasn't moved an inch really. It probably has, but it doesn't look like it has. But it has now gained a number. As you can see there on the buffer beam, it is now number 27. So again, another nice little link as to find out where it went to. I was kind of hoping at this point that it was still running, so I could say just go and find it. Where are we? So my search went a bit flat for this locomotive. I'd got a picture of it in the red undercoat. I'd got a picture of it in the blue. Couldn't find any mention of this locomotive Rolvenden apart from that. So then I should have done it at the start really, but looking at the numbers, now it had number 27 on the front of the buffer beam, but what was more important was the WD number, the War Department number, which was 75050. I put that into Google, and blow me down, I found this. Now this was a picture on geograph.org.uk, and this is a picture of a locomotive called Norman. Not quite Rolvenden, but it was fairly close-ish. And this photograph's taken 9 years ago near to Emsey, which is North Yorkshire. And then when I scroll down through here, a bit further on, and read the blurb at the bottom here. Okay, so the number on the side of the locomotive, it says here 68005 is a fictitious British Railways number, as this locomotive went to War Department WD75050. He's had a name change as well, so now he's no longer Rolvenden, and it is now Norman, and another little livery. But now I've got some idea what I'm looking for. A locomotive called Norman. Fantastic stuff. So I kind of got a bit excited, to be fair. It was all happening, and sure enough, when I've put in Norman into the internet searches, you know, we're getting pictures of him all over the place. For another picture here, number 35 on the side, again Norman on Flickr. So and underneath there is a brilliant little description, and it happily says there, which was really interesting, that it was sold to the Kent and East Sussex Railway and renumbered number 27. So there's the number from the buffer beam in earlier photographs. Okay, and it's now owned by the Southern Locomotive Group and on hire to Emsey and Bolton Abbey Steam Railway. Okay, and the engine briefly masqueraded as another Austerity number 69. And the true number 69 is currently awaiting restoration back at our sidings. And it says that Norman now carries its NCB works number of 35. So using that information, number 35, I found a YouTube channel called Gandhi Dancer Productions, and subscribed to him because he was doing a bit of work on Austerity Locos. I'm not going to show you all of this, but halfway through this part here, as you can see, I found the locomotive Norman. There we go. And it's number 35 is Norman, which is the locomotive, I reckon, that I stood on back in the late 80s. The question is then, what's happened to Norman? Where is Norm? We've got to try and find Norm. So yeah, amazingly, he turned up in green. He's been green at some point. Not quite sure what dates this was or what order the colours have come in, but he's been a few different liveries over the time. But yeah, there he is in his green, rather fetching livery, looking like he's been well used there, covered in coal dust and various bits and pieces. Interesting also that I managed to find he's still listed on, where we go to, I found this website, the Yorkshire Dales Railway, Emsey and Bolton Abbey Steam Railway, and number 27 Norman is still listed on the page, which is fantastic. And you follow that, it tells you all about him. There he is in his splendid green, absolutely lovely. Okay, lots of little pictures, and to me that is brilliant, knowing these pictures were taken about 2013, knowing that he did do service and was happily trundling along some rails somewhere, really made me happy. What I was really happy about was this next page, which is a preserved railway stock list. Okay, tells you lots about different locomotives, tells you when it was last sighted, when it was made, the origin of it, the works plate, the numbers, and on here, record number 1224 is about Norman, and you can see here on the page, there he is, look, in his finest blue livery. And what is interesting is over here, it says that he is under overhaul, so it's currently being worked on. It tells you all about his movements, where he's been, but what's more important is in the top right hand corner. This is really lovely. Look at this, look, previous names, Rolvenden and Norman. And that little bit of research, that's taken me a few days to find that. Probably take a real professional about 10 seconds, but I'm crap, you know. And I'm so happy that I found it. I found Rolvenden. I found exactly where he's ended up, and he's currently in overhaul. And yeah, wow. One day, hopefully, I get to see it again. That would be amazing. To see it again would be fantastic, and to get on, if I could get in the cab again, I'd love that. But that's dreams of the future, and just to see it again would be absolutely lovely. So it turns out even more excitingly that Hornby actually made a model of Norman. I mean, the chances of this is so amazing. I can't believe it. There it is. Okay, now unfortunately it's no longer available. Must have been quite a few years ago, I'd have thought, when it's actually when it came out. If I can find one second hand or even new old stock somewhere, I would buy it. Without a shadow of a doubt, I'd buy one. In the meantime, what I'd love to do is recreate in some kind of diorama when I saw Norman in its undercoat. I'd love to create that, and I have found this sort of gem, again, a Hornby model on the powers of the internet, okay, which is somewhat similar to the undercoat colour. It does work. It runs really well. There's no couplings on it, which isn't a problem for me, but I was tempted to, I don't know if it's too much, take the body off and place it, do a really nice job and get it painted in that sort of that bright red undercoat. Get the WPR and the number off this one and off the buff beam at the front, and try and create a diorama of the day I stood in Rolvenden's cab. So thank you very much for watching another of my nostalgic trips down memory lane. Very much appreciated. As always, your support is fantastic. As always, I hope I haven't bored you to death too much. This story doesn't quite finish here, however. Tomorrow I have booked some tickets to the Kent and East Sussex Railway back in Tenterden again, to try and find the original spot where I first met Rolvenden. Try and bring back a few memories, see how much it's changed in the last 34 years. And I'm taking Evie with me as well, so I'm going to give her, this could be quite entertaining, we're making a video of course of our day out. I'm giving Evie my old phone, I'm taking the one I'm currently filming on, and I'll see what results come out of both sets of recordings as to what we actually bring you next time round. But look forward to seeing you again. Thank you once again for your support, as I said before, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
So, where are we going today?
Going to Disneyland!
Yeah!